Now, if you're looking for a 7-seater that doesn't break the bank, well, this episode is for you. My name is SAIC Motor and today on Daily Drives, we'll be testing the SAIC Motor Maxus D90. Now, if you've never heard the name Maxus before, well, that would make two of us. It's actually an ex-British Leyland sub-brand that has been picked up by SAIC Motor. So who is SAIC? SAIC Motor has quite the history, but what you need to know is that they have been building Volkswagen parts for China since the 80s, created a strategic venture with General Motors in the 90s, and in the 2000s, it bought stakes in Daewoo and SsangYong. So this meant while it was becoming the strongest automaker in China, it was also gathering knowledge from the outside world. Like for example, SsangYong's partnership with Mercedes-Benz. They could have had access to schematics, blueprints, the lot really. And it always baffles me how Chinese cars became so relevant so quickly. Yes, they do have their shortcomings, and the D90 is no different, but they're not as bad as some people might think. Let me show you what I mean. Just look at it. It is massive. It's the biggest SUV in the Maxus lineup, and on top of that, it's bigger than its competitors, like the new Pajero or the Fortuner. And those competitors can only dream of the tech that this car comes with. The exterior design is boxy, to be kind. The front is dominated by a gaping front grille, proudly owning the Maxus logo as the latest trends suggest. The lights are sleek, but practical. They are fully LED and shine bright on the darker roads, giving you unexpected confidence. It looks refined and luxurious for a car in this price range, especially when you consider that the luxury option costs 10,500 dinars. And in case you were wondering, you're looking at it. And this luxury variant with 19-inch wheels instead of the 18s the standard version gets, combined with the gem blue color, it doesn't look cheap. Doesn't look cheap at all. Inside the D90, there are a lot of plastics, but Maxus has tried to hide them using interesting design elements like the dash over here or the center console down here. Comment down below what you think about the interior of this car while I explain 5 things I'm not really sure about. The infotainment system is extremely unintuitive, and for example, every single time I got into the car, I had to repair my Bluetooth from my phone. It just won't save it. Why won't you save my Bluetooth settings? On top of that, if you're an Android user, well, you're out of luck because it only has Apple CarPlay. And speaking of the infotainment system, the only way I found to change the volume of whatever song you're playing is on the steering wheel. Apparently there is a way to do it through the touchscreen. However, during the 4 days of owning this car, I could not find it. And the noise it makes when you raise or lower the volume is somewhat familiar. Wonder where I heard that one before. Once again, back to the infotainment system. You see, for the life of me, I couldn't find an equalizer in this car. And it's a problem when you have 12 speakers and they're pretty much focused on drowning you in bass. So after looking for a while, I reset the computer. And it did reset, but the bass, well, was still there. So this luxury variant comes with memory, cooled and heated seats, which is kind of nice. But the unfortunate thing about that is that it's only the driver who gets memory and cooled seats. The passenger on this side doesn't. The passenger doesn't also get the ability to move their seat up and down, which is kind of weird. An automatic tailgate for a car this tall is a must-have. The problem with this one is that if something gets in the way, it doesn't stop, so careful with your fingers. But it isn't all that bad. Here's 5 awesome things about the Maxus D90. The luxury version comes with massaging front seats, so whether you're the passenger or driver, you can sit back and relax on the way to work. It also comes with 360-degree cameras that you can look at on the infotainment screen and swipe around to see all the signs front and back, making it easier to park this behemoth anywhere. It's also filled to the brim with technology. It has lane departure warning, hill descent assist, as well as adaptive cruise control and more. It even has level 1 autonomous driving, which is a first for its segment. And the space in the back is absolutely huge. I mean, look at the amount of headroom I have. This seat reclines so I can go to sleep on a longer journey. I also have a nice armrest with 2 cup holders, a USB, and also a 2-pin 220 volt socket to charge laptops or any other devices on the way. And speaking about space, it is definitely worth mentioning the third row. I mean, yes, it is kind of tight for me, but for kids, it will do just fine. They also get some LED lights up top, an AC vent, as well as 2 cup holders and a USB port, as well as a 12 volt socket, so they can get their game on. The boot space is absolutely massive. Even with the third row seats up, you have a respectable 312 liters of space. But put everything down and you can put 2,382 liters of things inside. I mean, it's practically a van. The Maxus D90 is powered by a 2-liter, 4-cylinder turbocharged engine, and it develops 220 horsepower and 350 newton-meters of torque. It doesn't sound like a speed demon, nor is it, as it accelerates to 100 kilometers an hour in around 9.8 seconds. However, there is a good side, as the combined economy is around 12.2 liters. I personally got a little bit more from this car, but it only has around 1,000 kilometers on it, so I expect it to go down. So the Maxus D90 is a very impressive car, especially when you look at value. However, now it's time to take it on the road and see how it compares while driving against its non-Chinese competitors. Alright, the Maxus D90. Every single time I get into this car, I have a smile on my face because, I mean, in essence, let's say I'm you and I just purchased this car for $10,500 and I got so much kit and it drives like this. That's a pretty good deal. I'm sitting in a commanding position. I'm very comfortable, in fact. I have huge visibility, this massive window where I can see absolutely everywhere, and huge mirrors on the side. The only thing I don't like is the rear view mirror because, I mean, it's fine, but the headrests in the second row get in the way of me seeing out back. But when parking, I do have the 360 camera system, so it's easy to park, and pretty much this is useless. The suspension does lean a lot, so you want to take those corners a little bit slower than you're used to. However, that also does translate to the fact that the suspension is quite comfortable. It's a bit bouncy like an old school Cadillac, but some people like that, and honestly, it's just a driving characteristic of this car. The 2-liter engine does absolutely fine on normal roads. Even when going uphill, it manages to pull this thing and take it places. I'm not too happy about the gearbox, as it is quite late to downshift when you really need to kick off. The steering wheel is a flat bottom steering wheel. It's always nice to have because it just gives you more space when entering the driver's seat. In terms of steering itself, well, it is extremely vague and dead, but you know, we're kind of used to that. Everyone is doing that nowadays, so in all honesty, it doesn't really matter in a car like this. I did notice that the lane keep assist is not as aggressive as other cars, so if you're used to using that function, you might want to be a bit more careful while driving this. However, active cruise control works perfectly, hill descent control works as well, and all of the other functions this car has, never had an issue with them. So that level 1 autonomous driving, yeah, it's definitely a level 1. And one cool little thing this car has as well is the sunglasses holder is right above my head where I'd usually have the grab handle. Pretty nifty place to put it. And Faisal really wanted me to tell you that. So there you go. You're welcome, Faisal. Over the last hour, I've been averaging 12.8 liters per 100 kilometers, which is a little bit over what Maxus says in terms of fuel economy, but we have been driving on mixed sort of roads and up and down hills, so I think it's about right, and that's pretty good for a car this size. So to sum up the Maxus D90, it's a pretty good 7-seater when you consider the fact that it costs $10,500, which is a lot less than what you would expect to get with all of this kit. And when you compare it to its competitors and what they don't have, it starts to make sense. A lot of sense, actually. And that's basically it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, make sure to smash that like button, as well as let me know down in the comment sections below what you think of the Maxus D90, and if you have one, let us know about reliability. As well as don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell notification button so you don't miss out on any future videos. Have a great day and take care. So they can get their game on easily.
What are you doing?
Just testing it out.
So they can get their game on. Woo! So they can get their game on. So they can get their own game. So they can get their...
Bro, we're good.